Hey guys, this is Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and today I'm doing the full review on the Knipex 100 millimeter XS Cobra pump pliers. So these things are marketed as a small pump plier, the smallest ones in the world, I think, actually is what they're marketed as. And they do have they'd mention in their marketing for EDC. And that's pretty much what I picked it up for. And I think that's what it's best for, but even like a pro EDC, if that makes sense. So we'll get into that. But first, I want to do some specs. I've got a scale over here. So 2.2 ounces is what it weighs. I think it's a little bit less without the tape. This is just athletic tape on there I put on there to see if it added a little bit of comfort. A little bit it does. So 2.2 ounces, I think it's actually like 2 ounces or 2.1. So at the hinge here, it's about 4/10 of an inch. The jaw is about 150 thou. And then the handles, not on the tape, are about 0.355. So that kind of gives you the idea of thicknesses there. It's 100 millimeters, so that's overall. So you can see it's almost exactly 4 inches there. So that kind of gives you an idea of the weight and dimensions. What that comes down to is a tool that is very light, very slim, and honestly, guys, really, really pocketable. Like that's where this shines, is it is so much more pocketable than these 125 millimeter Knipex. It's not even close how much more pocketable these are in like every way. They're smaller overall, so you can slide them down into either your rear or front pocket. They'll slide down in there. They're definitely thin enough where they don't bulge out. And even if they rotate sideways on a jean pant, so just keeping in mind this is with jeans, is that they don't look like really weird. You know, like, see, they're about the size of a Victorinox sideways. So it doesn't like, there's not these like big two things poking out that are like printing in your pocket. Wow, that was hard to get out. It's really discreet in your front pocket or your back pocket. Let's see. So yeah, that's really great. And in the pocket, one thing that's really important to mention with this is I really like to slip this down like that into my back pocket. But what'll happen over the course of the day is it'll tip like that in my pocket. So then my butt is sitting on these handles. But that's the big difference here with this guy, is it doesn't look that different. But I don't know if it's more this hinge area or the jaw or the handles or how it works out. But this is like, you don't notice it back there. I've sat on like chairs and I've traveled in cars and couches and even on like hard surfaces like a tile floor and like, you know, thin carpet. This doesn't really bother my butt when I'm sitting on it, whereas this does a little bit. It's not bad, but like this, you don't have to readjust. You don't even notice it back there. And that is its biggest strength, is the size. It is so pocketable and comfortable in every way. Really, it is. And like when I was carrying it in my front pocket, I kept reaching to my back one to see if it was there, and I'm like, oh crap, did it fall out? And I'd be like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it's in my front pocket. Like, it was so that discreet, you know, and I'd forget where I'd put it. So that's really great. I always liked the buttons on the Knipex because I felt like they're pretty one-handed, you know, so you could click it and open and close it like that. So I thought I was gonna lose that with these guys, but if you just open it like that, give it a flick out and it's open. And then it's got, so you can't go more open just by pulling on it. You have to open it up to like overcome the little ratchet in there. then you slide it. But if it's closed, it's a ratchet, so you can adjust it just like that. So that's kind of nifty if you're not sure what size you're looking for. So you can bust it out one-handed and then cinch it down to the size you need. So let's see like an example here. So, you know, I let it swing, pop it, and then adjust it down. And actually I went, there we go. A little too far. There you go. So you can get right on that. So it's not perfect, but it 100% works. It's pretty reliable, except for when I'm doing it in front of the camera here. But yeah, so you can one-hand that pretty easy, both ways. You can just kind of flick it out. So you can do it one-handed. I like that. Handle comfort on these. So this was the #1 concern I had with getting this tool, is these handles not being as comfortable as the dip ones. And you know, I'll say that you can kind of see how they're checkered under there. If you look at my initial impressions video, you can see them, and I stand by what I said in that video on that. They are a lot more comfortable than I thought they would be. It's very doable. However, it is a huge step down from the 125s. It's doable, but it's a big step down. So if you are carrying these already and you're using these like constantly throughout the day, I don't think this is the right tool for you. The loss in comfort and in just overall capability here, and you've got those thinner jaws there. So if you need the thinner jaws to get into stuff, then maybe this is the ticket. But the loss in, I can't think, and like, you know, you get more leverage, there you go, with these longer handles, more leverage, more comfort. If you're using these all day, every day, it's really worth getting the bigger ones. But if you're just occasionally using them, so like if I was, you know, when I was a plant engineer, it's just like maybe once a day, maybe I would run across something where I'd really needed something like this. These will get you out of a pinch for sure, and they're really good for that. And just like a general EDC plier, you know, if you don't want to go for something like that, or like this, you're looking for a small plier to integrate into your EDC, then this is a good option. And like these pump pliers are still way outperforming even Leatherman's heaviest duty pliers like on the Surge. So as with all the Knipex, this blows those completely out of the water. It's not even close, so forget about it. Fittings you can get onto. So here's a 1/2-inch plug that you can easily get onto that. Here's the associated fitting. So pretty easily get onto that. I've tightened it way down and loosened it, so that's easy enough. Here is a 1-inch fitting, so I can grab that, but not well. So I wouldn't say this is a 1-inch fitting rated tool, but I think 3/4 pretty easy. I think it'll do 3/4 fittings. And then this is a 1-inch Schedule 80 straight pipe, and it'll grab onto that for sure. So gives you an idea of stuff. I'd say 1/2-inch all day long, 1/2-inch tubing fittings for sure. 3/4 is probably going to be pushing it, and if you really push it, you might be able to get onto 1-inch stuff, but getting 1-inch stuff unstuck is probably not going to happen with this guy. So 1/2-inch for sure, then you're in this category. If you're going up to 3/4, this guy might be the way to go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are kind of specs and the things I've found with it. And yeah, I really like it. I think it's a better EDC plier than this. I think it's the lightest and best way you can get pliers into your EDC for sure. And if you don't want to carry the bulk of a Leatherman, then you know, you can slip these into your front pocket, back pocket, and you just get such good capability for the occasional user for sure. But if you want something light and you're turning stuff every day, definitely go up to the 125s for sure. The added leverage and comfort is hands down worth it on the bigger tool. One last thing I will say is because you have the button here, it stays whatever you put it at. Whereas if you're trying to do like plier things where you're just like trying to grab something, this can walk on you a tiny bit. So if you've got it here and you're doing something, you can accidentally bump it up relatively easy. So I wish it was a little bit more difficult to do this, to push it back up. I wish it was a little bit stiffer. So keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world, but it's not perfect. So yeah, that's it for your EDC guy. Otherwise, if you're using it every day, go up to the 125s, or if you want to get some real freaking work done, the 180s. Just brought the plier wrenches out because why the heck not? And yeah, I really like them. I don't think the tape is necessary, but I think it helps a little bit. Oh, last thing is a viewer commented suggesting of putting some heat shrink tubing on here and then heat shrinking it so that it's kind of like the dip. And I said, that sounds like a freaking awesome idea. I don't have any here with me. Maybe I'll buy a roll and try it out, but I think that would be sweet. I'm not sure how slick it would or wouldn't be, but looking at it now, I mean, the plier wrench handles aren't textured like the Cobras are, and they're totally good to go. So I think that might be a really legit option to get you something really nice on there. But that's all I've got. I think it's well worth the $30 if you end up integrating this into your EDC. And you get just the handiest tool ever, and it's so small, so light. So that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. Bye.